Welcome back to
Open ranks.
Open Ranks.
Here we are again.
Again, this is
It's been a
part
minute.
6 of our Combat Outpost Blackfish slash later named D'Alencar. This is going to be a long series just because it was probably the wildest deployment for both of us. But
The more we talk about it, the more it jogs our memory and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
'cause this is-
I mean, even if we had more of our buddies and stuff, I mean, it would probably explode into 30.
which hopefully, we'll get some special guests in here who were on that deployment. Some of our brothers that, might have some stories that either A, we weren't even aware of, or B, might be able to elaborate on better,
Yeah.
or elaborate more in detail. But what you want to talk about
Let's
on
talk
this
about
episode?
PT Hill.
PT Hill.
So that was our OP, our observation post. That was what you think? How far was it?
So me and Wallace one day, like we went on our Garmin. I want to say it was my Garmin, but it was like 400 meters up in elevation that you walked up to this observation post that was outside our confines of the actual outpost. So,
And there was defilade, so it observed that, and with our TRP Camel Crush.
yeah, Crush Mountain.
Yeah. So, and that's why it was called PT Hill, because I mean it was just straight up, just to get into that tower, and you'd be sucked.
Yeah.
Like 7th group made us do it. What?
They made
Up
us
and down.
They made us do it. They said if you light infantry dudes want to go out with us Green Berets, you're gonna go up it. I want to say it was like 3 or 5 times consecutively without stopping.
Yeah, up and down.
And quick funny story about that. I remember our JTAC Fern was in the Air Force. He was our combat controller. He was doing it with us, and I remember him being like, stopping mid, at the halfway rock. I can't remember what we called it. It was like
I don't know, it was a
the
big
break
rock.
rock. Yeah, the break rock or whatever.
And you could just rest on it.
It was probably up like 75%, maybe a little bit less percent up the hill. But
I kind of remember a little bit.
I remember him sitting back on it and being like, I don't know why the fuck they're making us do this, because it doesn't matter. It's just gonna suck. All this is gonna suck. If we're going up Goat Pass in the mountains of Afghanistan, it's gonna suck. It doesn't matter how many times we fucking do this, it's gonna suck. And then they kind of were like, this Air Force Special Operations guy is actually speaking some truth here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what you got on OP?
Oh man. What's some good stories about it? Like I remember, and of course, talk about the plan of action if it was getting overran. We had claymores out there.
Oh yeah.
And we had rockets and stuff, and it was basically expend everything.
So because PT Hill was such a
Isolated.
it was so isolated, but not only that, it was such a pain in the dick to get up it. We didn't have a 50 cal up there. We had at one point there was a Mark 48 up there, which is a 7.62 open bolt machine gun, and then we swapped it to a 240 Lima at one point. But I'm trying to think what else is up there. I mean, there was a 320 up there, a handheld 320. There, I want to say there was maybe 1 or 2 AT4s, but one of the things
Clickers.
and then clickers for or clackers, some of you might call, for the claymores that we set up there. And so basically our plan for if we're like if you're on the OP, you're doing a 4-hour shift and you get blown out of the water up there, was to number one, shoot, either radio it up, or if you didn't have time, quickly load a star cluster into the 320, launch it, and straight up in the air towards the base or the outpost, or really anywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you clack off all the C4 up there, so you could basically escape. And I remember they told us at one point, they're like, take the fucking machine gun with you. And we're like, what? And they're like, yeah,
It's like, if you can, expend everything.
Yeah, expend what you got and then dip and bring back the machine gun. So, yeah, it got kind of, I don't want to say it really got wild up there. There's some previous stories that I've heard.
Me and Wallace got shot at up there.
I shot a shitload of warning shots up there.
Man.
Lots of warning shots.
When it came down to anybody with radio or cell phone or whatever, binos looking at the cop.
Calling it up. Hey,
Yep.
about to shoot a warning shot. Cool, send it.
Or the other. But, yeah.
I remember once, one of the funniest times on OP Hill, or on the OP for me, I was up there with my boy, Richard McMullen. He was one of the deco guys that was attached to us in the weapons squad. We're up there at night, and I'm looking on, not a thermal, oh my God.
One pass.
Yeah, it was past 13. Basically, it's a night vision, oh, hold on. Sorry, robot vacuum was about to come out here and cause mayhem. But yeah, I was up on Opie Hill with Richie, and I see someone in the pass and like the draw of Crush.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we radioed it up. I don't think we did. But anyways, I was like, dude, I pretty sure I see some people walking down this draw. And I grabbed the 320. I'm like, Richie, hand me a star cluster or White Star parachute.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the fuck we had them up there. This was not the place to have these. But we had CS 40 Mike up there. And I shot a fucking... The first one I shot was... He handed me it loaded, shot into the draw, and it was a CS fucking 40 Mike. And then we heard him yelling. And then there was a really... and like, I'm looking in the past, I'm like, that's a really funny glow. This should be a hell of a lot brighter. You know, seeing like a red star cluster or whatever was intended to be shot. And then I eject around, look at it, and I'm like, white light it really quick. I'm like, Richie, you just handed me a fucking CS grenade, and threw it on the ground, grabbed a star cluster, and then shot, and then you could see them like running back up. But I remember, you remember like how everybody used to write like funny, like at one point, so basically we had all the 2x4s or 4x4s that were up there supporting the rest of the Air Force pallets that were above us.
Typical soldier shit.
You know, it had all the degrees already marked out. There was, you know, we had like a little whiteboard up there that would have like the ammo count of what we had up there and all that shit that you had to make sure that was still there when we'd go up per shift. But then, you know, there was also like a range card one that maybe was a piece of cardboard we just drew on up there.
Probably up there, yeah.
But anyways, soldiers being soldiers, like you said, I remember we wrote this ridiculous shit on all these 4x4s. And after that incident with me and Richie up on the OP, someone wrote, who would you rather have, or would you rather go to a class with Johnson teaching you about the 320 and 40 Mike, or like have Sharp teach you KP or something like that. It was something fucking ridiculous. But like people drew like ridiculous shit, like cartoons and fucking. I remember seeing like SpongeBob and like just ridiculous shit. But man, the OP was pretty
Probably
special.
should read some of those.
Yeah, definitely got some pictures in the album that
We might post that to the channel. Just a little slideshow.
Yeah.
Some
whether
shit.
of on YouTube, we can post some pictures like a slideshow on that one, and then on our Instagram, we will we'll just make posts.
OP remarks.
OP remarks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do want to give a shout out to my boy over at on Instagram at War Murals. I submitted some pictures from being deployed in 2019 to him, and he's actually making trading cards. So if you got some deploying pictures, of your own that would make good trading cards, or pictures of different T-walls you've seen, go shoot him a DM with those pictures and he'll make them trading cards, man. It's awesome. But the OP was special as a whole. It was honestly at one point it just became like we all had our designated BPs that we'd go to as squads. Ours was BP2, like we said in previous episodes, but I actually didn't mind going up to the OP.
Me neither. It's just away from
Because you're away from everybody, kind of do your own thing, get away with a little bit, and not only that, you could get away with a little bit more just because there's 2 people up there versus if you're back at one of the BPs on the outpost, it was like you were just there by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, like the homies would come up. Like I remember,
a
you
lot quicker than
but like I remember, like if you were on shift or Nally or myself or really anybody. Like, you'd have dudes from other squads, like, come up and bullshit with you.
Yeah.
So, like...
Just doing PT. Because, it was hell.
No. I'm talking about the BPs were just bullshit.
Oh, yeah. But, still, like...
people
come up to the OP.
Yeah. Like, there'd be, like, there's, our 18 Fox. He would come up and run up PT Hill with, one of the Deltas... 18 Deltas that we had, and they would like run up, check on the boys that were up there, check it out, because a lot of the Green Berets, they didn't really go to that many BPs. They would pick and choose, which ones they kind of wanted to go to. But the ones that came into the OP, they're always super chill, ask how we're doing, what we've been seeing, patterns of life, that kind of shit. But yeah, man, the OP was special, for sure.
I remember fucking everybody one time, because in BP2, I just got, I just start writing down times, vehicle, and describing the vehicle, and, how many people, and what they were carrying, like 4 in the morning, you know what I mean? It'd be one guy, approximately, 30 sheep, walking down the road.
Yeah.
Or, 2 guys, 5 mules.
Yeah.
Nothing. Coming back, 2 guys, 5 mules, loaded with sticks.
Yep. So, what he's talking about here, what Tommy's talking about here is not only, we had our range cards, all of the degrees written out in Sharpie on these big 4x4s and whatnot, TRPs, written down on our range cards and all that. But we had a logbook that we had to consistently keep up with and write, anytime we saw something in the pattern of life that was outside of the norm. So yeah, seeing someone walk fucking sheep at 4 in the morning, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's 4 in the morning. But yeah, we just write down all this shit in logbooks. So
I'm just observant, dude. You know what I mean? And I see everything. It's like, I think, when 10th group first got here, and they came up in BP2, and I don't know if we were getting attacked or whatever, and because they ran up there, and it was like, what are these people doing still driving up and down the road and walking up and down the road? And
oh, yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
It's
and we're like, this is normal,
Yeah.
but so a little bit of backstory on this. So when we first arrived at the cop, 7th group was in charge of it, and so, but they were at the end of their 6-month tour, and then, or at the tail end of their tour, and then 10th group rolled in, which honestly I liked working with 10th group a hell of a lot more than 7th group. 7th group for us, they're just a bunch of roid heads who didn't really like light infantry dudes. If I'm being honest,
I like them. They're like Vikings.
yeah, they were like Vikings for real. Granted, like they're like one of the Charlies. His name was Dave. I remember he was cool as fuck. But yeah. Anyways, so 10th group, the team sergeant, he'd been to Afghanistan multiple times. I think someone said he was either on his like 9th or 13th deployment, and he'd been to Afghanistan a number of times.
I was trying to catch up.
But anyways, yeah. So 10th group, I like working with them probably the best. It'd be interesting to talk to the other boys in the platoon and see who all they like working with better. But shit. Gotta sneeze once in a while, right? But shit, yeah, so this episode's specifically just targeted towards the OP.
I guess, yeah.
But
fun story about that. There were some wild dogs that came up there to the OP.
oh yeah.
And then I got one to come up into the OP, and I locked it in there. And I had a dog up there in the OP, which is sketchy as shit.
Which
Wild ass dog.
yeah, but for the next episode, we'll start off talking about our favorite dog, Misha. So stay tuned for episode 7.